Going on. Okay, I'll start. Good afternoon, one and all. This is from MentoMeet. We start our first live career section. In this, we'll be talking with Abdul, who got placed in JPMorgan. We'll be revealing facts about this interview and way more interesting facts and tips that will help you all in your future interviews. So, before we start with the interview, shall I give you a brief introduction about MentoMeet? So MentoMeet is an ethic platform in which we help all the students to get to their placement, to their project, and review resume review and mock placement interviews. During this lockdown period, a number of companies have been affected. In fact, all around the nation, we have all been affected. The companies have laid down their employees and they have cut off their number of seats for their placement drive. So we at MentoMeet make sure you get the deserved company, your dream company which you wish for, with our with all the helpful facts and guidance from our mentors. So uh, now we'll start our live session. So Abdul, please start by introducing yourself.
Yes. So just a minute, Ajay, uh, please pin the video so that it can be better viewable in live streams.
Yeah, yeah, I just pinned your view.
Okay, thank you. Yes. Uh, yeah, so let's start with the introduction, with my introduction. So I'm a final year undergraduate student from IIT Roorkee. That means, we have almost completed our graduation, and I did my internship at JPMorgan, from where I got a replacement offer as well. So yes, my interest lies in web development, software development, and the programming languages and technical stuff that I'm familiar with are. I started with C++, basic C++ for programming, and then I learned Python. I learned Java. For web development stuff, I know HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and the frameworks of JavaScript that I know are React.js and AngularJS. And apart from it, I also know backend Node.js for backend development, and I have read the basics. I have implemented the basics of Django as well as Flask for backend as well. So these are some of the interests that I like to do. And apart from technical stuffs, I like to play guitar. Uh, yes, so I'm still learning the guitar actually. Yeah. So this was the introduction part. So now I have some list of questions, so which we will be answering in this session. Okay. So yeah, the okay. So Yash, will you be asking the
Uh,
questions or
I feel like whatever you're comfortable with.
Yeah,
yes, yes, fine. You can ask the questions.
Okay. So definitely, Abdul, all your interest and all your strengths must have outshone all the interviewees because they are tremendous and must have played an incredible role in your interview. So my first question is, how did you get to know about the placement drive, JP Morgan's placement drive?
So let me give you a brief overview about how their recruitment sessions take place. And I mean, mine was definitely on campus, but let me go through to the brief idea of how it actually takes place. So the JP Morgan has around 45,000 tech employees. So it is actually an investment bank, but it has so many tech employees because it also provides technical solutions to their clients. So it has 45,000 tech employees, out of which one third of their tech employees are from India. So you can see what the huge market they are investing it in India. So that's why they took this internship and placement drive every year and hire hundreds of students from all over India. So for internship, they selected 200 students from all over India. They have a specified team structure which comes to the recruitment, and the first way of getting to know about the internship program is on campus. Every campus has a placement team. They can directly reach out to their HRs and they provide their official schedule when they will be reaching out to you in the campus. Another way of reaching out to them is they have a standard portal just like Google, Facebook, and other tech giants. So in that, what happens is people individually apply there, and if your resume qualifies their criteria, then they will try to approach you for the further rounds. And other way of applying is it's very popular, LinkedIn, right? But I mean, it depends on how strong your resume, how strong your profiles is, because when you are just focusing on top one tier companies, then your resume should be really strong, and your plus point should be effective enough so that you can qualify their qualifier rounds.
Well said, Abdul. So, my next question is, can you describe or talk about their interview process? For example, how many rounds they had, and about what was there in their first round, what type of questions they asked.
Can you please repeat? I got internet connectivity.
No problem. I was asking, can you discuss more about the interview process? For example, number of how many rounds they had, and what are questions they asked in their respective rounds, all the respective rounds, and
Yes.
you know,
Yes, okay. So the first round was in most of the companies, the first round is usually the coding round or online test, which we can say. So its first round was of 65 minutes. It consisted of two programming problems. The first problem was relatively easier. So they have a strategy in giving the programming assignments. If you are a good programmer, then I mean there is a little bit variation in the difficulty level. So if you are a good programmer, you will be able to solve the easier one very quickly. I mean, you should identify which one is the easier one, and you will be able to solve it very quickly because I mean, other than typing speed, you won't need much thinking in that particular kind of problem. So the one problem is relatively easier, and the one problem is relatively difficult. In most of the companies, they follow these kind of patterns, either in either two or three problems. So first problem I solved within 5 minutes or say 7 minutes, and then the next problem was Sudoku solving problem. So as you know, it's a popular backtracking problem, but it requires huge practice because the length of the code is really large. So these were the two problems. So their shortlisting criteria from this test was I forgot about to mention the detail about the first problem. So for the first problem, it was a string manipulation problem. A string manipulation based on all the ASCII values and those things, uppercase, lowercase. So it was a normal string manipulation problem. They just wanted to check your speed, how much, I mean, in how much less time you can solve that problem. And the next problem, they wanted to check whether you can write longer codes or not. So the criteria for shortlisting from that round was uh, those who have solved two problems will definitely get shortlisted. Those who just have solved one problem will get shortlisted only if they are able to write that particular code in within a particular time limit. So this was the criteria. So there were some students who just solved one problem and still got shortlisted, and there were some problems who solved one problem and took so much time to submit it that they didn't got shortlisted. Yeah, so this was about the first round. So further, I mean, this first round is very much separate from the interview process. Okay, the interview process starts from the round two. So now their interview process consists of three rounds. The first round is the technical interview round. The second one is strategic problem solving round, and the third one is normal HR round. So in the first round, what they did is they asked few of the technical questions. In the second round, they asked technical questions. In the third round, they gave a they gave a their product. They gave a marketing strategy of their product, which was not working well in the market. So they asked me, what technical architecture will you implement in the product so that it can be emerge as a full-fledged product in the market. This was the problem statement for second round, and for the third round, they asked some HR questions. Okay, so since this question is the most important part of this round, let's go into detail in each of the rounds. So for the first round, second round, which was technical interview, uh, he started with the resume. So my resume includes all my interest and what are extracurricular activities I have developed in all my 3 or 4 years of college life. So he first started with really basics like HTML, CSS. So he went deep into the CSS. So he asked me what are the different kinds of CSS you can implement in a web page. Then he asked me which particular type of the CSS is the fastest one. He will try to get you into so much deep that you will start confusing yourself. You will start questioning yourself. You need to, you need to, whatever basics you know, those should be extremely clear. Only then you will be able to defend what all answers you are given. So he went into really basics of CSS. which one is fastest, which one is slowest, which one makes the code looks good, which one is the systematic way of writing the code, and all those things. So after CSS, he moved, since I knew web development quite well, he moved to whether you know how to write APIs or not, and then he asked me whether you know about operating systems or not. So he just had a little bit discussion about APIs, because front end is really important part of web development. Back end is really important part of web development. So he asked me a little bit about APIs. Then he switched to OS, whether you know about operating systems or not. So since I had operating system courses in my fourth year, at that time I wasn't aware of it. So I simply mentioned it that as of now I don't know much about operating system, and we'll be studying this course in a later semester. So he was perfectly satisfied this and then after asking these things, he gave me some technical problems. He started asking me about sorting algorithms. So as I told you, they usually stick to very basics and then move to some difficult problems. So he asked me really basic problem about sorting. So then he asked me what are the sorting algorithms you will implement and how you will implement it. So I started mentioning about the sorting algorithms and their time and space complexities. Then he stick to one particular algorithm, I think quick sort, and asked me select this one and write the code for quick sort algorithm. And there was no, I mean, these days things are going online, but those days everything went offline. So he simply gave me a sheet of paper and asked me to write the to write the logic, explain the logic first on that piece of paper. So I explained him that logic for quicksort problem. Then he asked me, now write the complete code about this quicksort problem. As you know, the length of the quicksort problem will be relatively bigger, and it will be really difficult for you to write the code on piece of paper. But you need that practice as well. It is a very important point in offline interviews. You need the practice of how to write correct code with proper syntax on uh, a piece of paper. I mean, he can ask you whether to write complete code. So I started writing the code for quicksort. He didn't wanted me to write the complete code. He was just looking at my attitude. How am I writing the code? Whether I have the confidence to write the code or not. When I started writing the code, I just wrote 3-4 lines, and he stopped me and he said, "That's it, okay." So this way, he progressed about sorting, and then he asked me some difficult kind of problem about dynamic programming. So yes, which I was somehow able to solve. I mean, I started with some less optimal solution and then moved to optimal solution. In case I felt stuck at point of time, but uh, we can ask them for hint in the polite way. Okay, so sir, this is the problem that I am being stuck with. Can you please provide some hint? Okay, or this is the best optimal solution that I am able to figure it out. Can you please have a look at this one? So in this friendly manner, you can even ask them. I mean, if you are if you are getting stuck at some point, tell them I am stuck at this point. I mean, don't try to hide your solution, or don't try to hide your views on the solution. And another thing is, when you're writing the code, you should keep on explaining it. It's not like you are just writing the code and thinking about it in your mind. Whatever you are thinking, think out loud. Thinking out loud is an important skill during the live interview sessions. So after that programming problem, my technical round lasted for around 30 to 40 minutes, and then it got over. Then after some time, they asked me for the next round. And as I told you, the next round was marketing strategy. They had a product. It was some kind of website similar to Flipkart or something. And they asked me there were so many problems in that particular website. They said that this website is, I mean, its market is really large, but it's not able to flourish properly in the market. So what can be the possible reasons? So, and how will you correct those reasons? I mean, how will you correct those issues? So they also asked me to develop the technical architecture of exactly how you will do that. So I identified some 3 or 4 problems from that website, and for each of the problems, I specified some of the technical architecture. That yes, this particular issue can be solved using prediction algorithms of machine learning, and this particular issue can be solved using data structures like hash maps, which will make it faster, and those things. So at that point of time, I wasn't aware much about machine learning and data science stuffs. So I told them that, sir, I'm familiar about the programming stuff, but I'm not much familiar Emily, I told you, no, don't worry. I knew the basics. So just tell me roughly how it can be implemented. I mean, you are not supposed to implement it. Just tell me how it can be implemented. I told them how it can be implemented using some. I knew the basics of machine learning. So I told them how it can be implemented.
अब्दुल तुम्हारा इंटरनेट कर रहा है. हेलो.
Hello, Abdul.
Yes, you can disconnect, like you can turn off your camera. Are you turned on?
हाँ ठीक है.
Yeah, you can turn off because Abdul's camera is only pinned. Maybe he just disconnected due to internet issue, and he will join us as soon as possible. Yes, you can continue. Like, what are other things till Abdul comes?
So whatever Abdul told us, they were like very good facts about one can implement in interview. For example, I will just pinpoint few of those which I had grasped and they were actually extremely helpful during interviews. One was thinking out loud. Abdul mentioned how thinking out loud can help you during an interview and it can also reflect your thought process. Suppose they have given you a code to solve and you think out loud, they will also get to know how you are processing that code and how you are tackling that same problem. So thinking out loud helps you a lot during the interview session. Next, Abdul also talked about friendly interaction session with the interview. For like how we said, if you don't know a problem, you don't have to hide it. You can simply initiate a friendly conversation with them. How Abdul had mentioned that you can you can tell them I'm stuck at this point. You can politely ask them to give a hint. So that way it will not give a bad impression that you are not able to solve a particular problem. It will also give an impression that you are trying to initiate a problem and trying to solve that particular problem. It will also create a good impression among the mind of the interviewee. Apart from that, Abdul also told us the various problems he was given during the interview session. Some of them were technical problems, some of them, and he said, uh, as he said, the interviews mainly focus on the basics of your particular skill. Suppose you are focusing on CSS or Java, they will be asking you a lot of questions on the basics of the CSS. So, as we know, basics are the foundation of any skill. So, we need to keep the foundation strong because it is there where the interview will be tackling you.
Yeah, so most of the things that are told by Abdul is like very essential things. When are you going for the interview? Like, there are first things that you make sure is that your resume is building very powerful, like you made it very well. And after that, for which company you are applying, that is very important. Like if you are applying for Goldman Sachs or if you are applying for the Microsoft, then you should firstly investigate like what are the company's profile and what are the things that they are looking for. Like if some company are more focused on the operating system and some company are mostly focused on the database management. So that is the thing. So firstly make sure that you investigated everything very well about the company, then make sure your resume is built according to that company, then start preparation regarding your company. Like when we started and Abdul started preparing for interviews or preparing for coding test, he firstly makes sure that which company he is applying and what are the top companies that he want to place. Then he started investigating about those companies and prepared according to that. And other than that, as he said that in the coding test, first if you are applying for the HD role or if you are applying for the machine learning role, one thing is sure that you have to pass your coding test first. Then only you can go in the second round. So first clear and make sure your coding is very well. Start preparing coding preparation uh, on the lead code, hacker rank. And one thing is also there, like many of the question will directly from the lead code. So if you try and prepare on lead code, it will be very helpful for you. And also, most of the companies attend or organize their questions on directly on the hacker rank. So you can also can feel that some of questions can directly asked from the lead code and also from the hacker rank as well. And other points are like if you see that many companies also repeat the questions, there are some standard questions. So you can try also top questions from the Geeks for Geeks. Like there are some standard questions that are for like dynamic programming, greedy algorithm, or any algorithm that are there, and you can get standard problems for that. We will post you. We post daily basis on the like what are the top problems, what are the lead code contest. You can also participate in the lead code contest, and you can also get like operating system DBMS, and the network related problems. So these are the things that we post daily basis on our Telegram channel. So you can also join that channel as well. We will post that link in the description. And other than coding preparation, in the second and third round, questions are asked based on your other knowledge, like the core knowledge, computer science knowledge. So in the core computer science knowledge, if we ask for the operating system, there are also still standard question and standard problems. Like if we go for the operating system, then there are most questions asked based on the Banker's algorithm, based on the like uh, uh, there are many concepts related to the operating system that are very standard, like memory management and uh, most of the questions are based on the like RAM memory, and uh, there are there are also many concepts. If we ask go for the DBMS, so in the database management, there are questions related to the normalization. So most of the questions are based on the normalization. So we can focus on the standard problem. If you search directly like what are the standard problems that are asked in interview, so you can go through those problems. So these are the standard problems that are also in the coding and also in the core computer science subject. So firstly, make sure that you go through all these standard problems, because these are things that are firstly asked in the interview, because not there are so many interview held, and obviously every time creating a new question is not possible for interviewer. So you can also, if you are like applying for interview and there are 10 people who are applying for interview, and if you are after someone, so you can also ask him that what are the questions asked. That will be very helpful, because we have also tried these things, and sometimes happens like person who asked in the first same question will be asked in the second will be asked with the second person as well. So these are the things you need to care. So Abdul has joined again. So yes, and Abdul, you can continue further.
Yes, so really sorry guys about the internet connectivity issue. Yes, I think I was at the second round, which was marketing problem solving round, right? So in that, I told you guys about yes what they actually want. They just actually wanted me to whether I'm able to identify the problems and give them the solution for those particular kind of problems. At that point of time, I wasn't aware much about the machine learning stuff. So yeah, he just asked me, tell me what can be the possible ways of doing it. You don't need to do it. Just tell me how it can be done. So I told them various algorithms about. I knew the basics of machine learning, so I told them we can use recommendation system here. We can use prediction algorithms here. So in that way, I explained them how it can be done. So that way he was pretty satisfied that I'm able to identify the problem as well as I'm able to figure out the solutions for those particular kind of problems. Because what happens is anyone can figure out the problems, but finding out the solution for those problems is a really difficult and challenging task. So that's the quality they expect in their employees, for whomsoever they are hiring in the hiring process. So this was the end of second round. uh, we have seen what was the technical round, and the next one was marketing problem solving round. So then the next round was HR round, which was the last round, and after that the results were declared. So in the HR round, what they're actually trying to see is they're trying to see how is your way of life, how you're thinking, what's your philosophy, what has been your motivation, how is your communication skills, and how you interact with the person, how you interact with the new person, how you interact with the person whom you already know. So these kind of things they ask you about in the HR round. I mean, they try to figure this out indirectly. So for the HR round, he started with what's your motivation, and what do you think is your biggest achievement. So these kind of things, we should prepare the answers for these kind of questions pretty earlier back. So I was a little bit prepared for these kind of questions. So I directly told them most of the facts that were true. And yes, so one of the problems that I found very interesting in that case was, and it will be very obvious questions for any one of you who is applying for software jobs and is, or he or she is from non software background. So if you are from either mechanical, chemical, electrical, or any other branch, so they will ask you this thing: why do you want to apply for software development? And in my case, my CGPA was more than 9. So they asked me, your CGPA in your core branch or chemical branch is higher than 9 CGPA. Then why do you want to apply for software branch? Okay, so that was a really tricky question, and you should have a well prepared answer for it. Your logic should be very logical. I mean, your answer should be very logical. Why do you want to do this? So I explained to him that chemical branch is not about chemistry, it's more about physical science. So when I entered the college, I just physical science is attracts everyone, right? We are science students, so physical science, we don't have any harm in studying physical science. So I joined chemical branch, and then after exploring it a little bit, I started with the core projects only. So I shown him that you can see in my resume I have done a core project, and then I didn't found it much interesting. So I tried a project which is a combination of code as well as coding. Okay, so in those particular projects, I found a little bit more interest, and then I have explored this development and software development projects. So these were the ones that attracted me the most. So that's why I'm applying for this one. So this answer was pretty much logical, and he was pretty much satisfied with my answer. Okay, so yes, after that he continued to ask me about family members, and what have you done in the last 3 years of your college life? What do you think are your good skills? What do you think are your strong points? What's your weakness? And these kind of things. So these things they asked me in the HR round. So I mean, they they should not find out that you're lying in the HR round. This is the important fact that you should take care. I mean, it's better not to lie. It's better to explain all the facts correctly. And if you are manipulating some of the stuff, then you should be confident enough that you can defend yourself. Because if he figures out that you are manipulating your answers, or you are lying a little bit, then it will be a really bad impact on the HR person. So in my case, most of the facts that I explained to him were logical, uh, and they were actually the facts, which were so true. So HR was pretty satisfied after the round, and after some 4 hours or 4 to 6 hours, they declared the result. So this was the interview process, and this continued from 6:30 p.m. in the evening up to I think 11 p.m. in the night.
Okay, okay, that was like really great. All the information which you have shared was very useful. So my next question is, how much CTC will JP Morgan be paying you for your role as software developer?
Okay, so let's first see how much stipend it pays for its interns, and then we'll see how much it pays for the job role. So for interns, it has a payment criteria of 75K per month, and its internship program is of 10 weeks. Usually, it is of 10 weeks, but due to COVID, they try to manipulate this duration, and sometimes they conduct it for 4 weeks, and sometimes they conduct it for 6 weeks. 6 weeks. So in my case, they conducted it for a total of 5 weeks. Yes, so that's the stipend for internship, and then for the SD job role, uh, they pay total 21K, 21 LPA, 21 lakhs. Out of which 18 lakhs is the base CTC, and above that they have 2 lakh joining bonus, and 1 lakh is relocation bonus. So 18 is the base and 21 is the total CTC. So there is not much difference in total and the base CTC for JPMorgan.
Okay, so basically my last but not the least question. What advice would you like to give to the fellow aspirants who are trying for the same company and same post?
So first of all, you should target a group of companies whenever you are trying to apply for a particular role. Don't just stick to one particular company or one particular position. Try to have some backup options. You might be knowing about Plan B. Most of us have watched experience recently. So try to have backup options as well whenever you're trying to apply for any given role. Shortlist these 10 companies. Okay, I'm shortlisting these 10 companies which are tier one, and these 5 companies which are from tier two. And I believe that I must get job in some of these. Okay, so try to have backup options whenever you are applying for any particular position, and prepare well. I mean, research well about that particular company in which you are going to you are applying. Okay, so it's not like you haven't attended their PPT or you don't know about what that company actually does. So in some of the HR round, they might actually ask you what this company does, why you want to apply in this particular company only. So you should have the background knowledge. You should have researched a little bit about that particular company. So these are the non-technical factors that you must consider while applying for any particular job. And talking about the technical factors, the first thing is if you are since we were just talking about the SD software development program. So in that your data structures and algorithms, these topics should be pretty strong. They will actually ask you in the interview which I mean whether your data structure is stronger or algorithms is stronger. They will ask you to rate them on a scale of 10. So if you will rate them on, I mean, if your rate will be low, then it will obviously put a bad impact on the interviewer. And if your rate is high, then you must be able to fulfill their criteria. Like whatever they are asking, you must be able to deliver whatever they are expecting from you. So try to prepare well in these topics, make them stronger whenever you apply for these companies. Apart from them, uh, you should have, I mean, you should always follow T-shaped learning. So this T-shaped learning is really important. So the horizontal portion of T indicates that these are the fields or these are the topics which I'm familiar with. Okay, and the deeper portion of the T, which you can, the vertical portion, that means that you excel at this particular topic. So that means I know a little bit about machine learning. I have explored my core branch. I have explored software development. I have explored web development, Android, little bit. I mean, basics of all those. But I am very much interested in this software development role, and I know competitive programming really well. Okay, so this kind of learning you should always follow. So these were some 4 tips from my side, which I'm going to think of right now. Whenever you will face any kind of difficulty, we at MentoMeet are there to help you out. I mean, you can comment on a post or you can try to reach out to us through our website. I mean, the details will be shared to you in the end of the session.
Thank you, Abdul. That was a very great session, and all the information which you have shared was very helpful.
Yeah, yes.
I just want to say,
Yeah, I have one more question, Abdul. Yeah,
oh,
Yes.
please
yeah.
go ahead.
So, what should we do when we don't know the answer in the interview?
Yes. So, if, for example, if you know a little bit about that particular topic, I mean, there can be two possible scenarios. Three possible scenarios. If you know completely about that particular answer, you can simply answer it clearly and fine. If you know that, and if you know about that particular topic partially, okay. So I mean, I tell them that to the best of my knowledge, this is what I know, and I know this is not a complete solution, but based on this, the solution can be built. Okay, this is a partial answer, but still, since you are accepting your mistake, I mean, accepting that this is not a complete solution, this is a partial solution, and this is what I know. So I mean, you are telling him the truth. So this also puts a fine, I mean, all right impact on the interviewer. If you don't know, I mean, if you don't know about anything about that particular question, then if it is a normal yes no kind of question or little bit one line kind of question, you can simply say that, sir, I'm not aware of this particular topic, or I'm not aware of this particular problem, or I don't know the solution of this problem. So he will skip that problem and move to the next step. Now the thing is, if there are more than 2 or 3 questions for which you don't know the solution, you don't know the answer to that question, then he will not like to listen no 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 again and again, right? For one time it's fine, for second time it's fine, for third time it may be fine. But if you will say no, I don't know about this topic, no no no, for 4 or 5 questions, then it will put a bad impact on the interviewer, and he will definitely not consider your application. So you should keep in mind that you have answered no to 2 of the questions. Okay, that's fine. For 1 or 2 questions, if you're answering that yes, I don't know about this topic, it's fine. They consider it just normally. But I mean, you should minimize your no. If you know the partial answer, tell them. If you know anything about that topic, tell them, so that your no will not be there.
Yeah, that's very good thing. Like because most of the people don't know like what to do when we do not know answers. So you gave a very good idea. Also, like, can you brief about what are the off-campus ways if someone want to apply for some specific companies?
Yes. So just like I started the session. So if you want to apply for tier 1 companies like Google, Microsoft, Facebook, and so JPMorgan and all those. So the first thing is, by applying for off-campus placement or internship, the competition increases. The competition is very high in the market. So your skills, for example, if you are applying for the programming role, so your skills should be among the top 1 percentile. Okay, so you should be among the top 1 percentile. If they gave you a problem, in most of the cases, in 99% of the cases, you should be able to solve it. So if you have this much strong grip on programming, data structures and algorithms, then the chances of your selection will increase very much. Yes, so the way of applying to them is they have their standard portal. Each of the company have their standard portal on which you need to answer some questions, and you need to send your resume to them. Then they will shortlist you based on that criteria, and your application status you can always view them on their portal. What is the application? What is the status of your particular application? So this was the first and the most general way of applying to these tier 1 companies. So when we come to tier 2 or other companies, they don't usually have these kind of specified and systematic portal. So they usually recruit through LinkedIn and other programs. So they conduct some kind of programs. Suppose there are some open programs in which they want to hire some either interns or they offer job offers. So those are mostly floated on LinkedIn. So you should have a really good profile on LinkedIn. If you have a really good profile on LinkedIn, then in many of the cases they themselves approach you that I have an opening for this role. I have an opening for this role. Just place a tag that you're open for internship or you're open for placement, you're open for opportunities. They will contact you if you have really good profile. If you don't have that good profile, then you should try to approach the HRs. Start with the HRs because they are the one who will be connecting you to the company ultimately. So if you start from if you try to directly message any of the general employee of that company, he will most probably ignore your message. Okay, so that will that's going to waste your time. So try to connect with HR and tell them that I have my expertise in this and this field, and I would like to apply for this particular role. Can you please consider my application for this particular role? If it's the job of HR to hire some young talents, right? So they will not ignore your application. They will somehow try to conduct some screening process. They will go through your resume and those things. Now, suppose if you're not able to connect to HR of particular company, for example, I want to apply for Koyo, and I'm not able to connect to the HR of that particular company through LinkedIn or anywhere. So now what I will do, I will directly try to contact with any other employee, and I will not tell him the detail about me and I want to apply for this role. I'm good in this. I'm good in this. I will not tell him all these things. I will just simply ask him, "Hello, sir. Can you please connect me to the HR of your company?" And I mean, just simple 2 or 3 lines of message on LinkedIn. So if you will ask this thing politely, more probably he will try to connect you to the HR. I mean, in he might ignore your message, but there are high chances that he will connect you to the HR, and he will help you forwarding your application. So once he connects to the HR, you can simply have a normal conversation with him and apply for the specific roles. So these are the usual ways of applying in these companies.
Yeah, so I guess that's all the questions that we had. Yes, do we have any other question?
No, that's all from my side.
Okay. So in the last, we can, I guess, if someone do not have any question, then we can just wrap up on our session. Yeah, so in the end, I just want to share about more about our what is the MentoMeet and what are we doing and what are the plans about our sessions. So mostly we focus on the JEE, NEET and engineering plans. So in the engineering, we mostly focus on like interview preparation session and providing mentor for their coding journeys. Like we have mentors from the various institutes like IIT Roorkee, IIT Delhi, and IIT Bombay. So we have so anyone who want mentorship can directly connect with those mentors and get help regarding their preparation. And what are the various plans do we have? So regarding we provide virtual internship session. So in the virtual internship we have web development project where we focus mostly on the MongoDB and Express.js and mostly React.js. So if anyone is interested in the web development, then can take that virtual internship plan. And also, if someone preparing for the interviews, then we also schedule mock interviews. So in the interviews, we mostly focus on like 5 and 4 mock interviews. So in the different mock interviews, we have in the first meeting we mostly focus on the resume verification, like the resume building. Then we have asked some mock interviews related to the coding problem or coding test. Then is focused on the core operating system or core database management or core CS related interview. So in this way, we fully focused on the interview related to the software development role. So these are the basic plan, and also we have one more plan related to the directly one call basis. So in the one call, you can directly talk with our mentor, and if you have any doubt and any query related to the your HD role or data science role, you can ask for that role. So this is the basic about our plans and like what are the things that you can get. And also like if someone have any issues regarding the plans, then can directly contact on our number. So this is all about our what are the various plans. So yes, and Abdul, if you do not have any other thing, then we can stop our live session.
Yes,
Oh,
I think that's it.
Yeah. So okay. I guess it was very helpful for everyone. We hope that we helped many people regarding our mock interview session. So thank you everyone whoever joined, and all the best for whoever are preparing for their interviews and tests. So thank you.